Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have OLAF jungle. And you know what? I don't think you guys realize this. He is pretty strong. A hidden OP in the most literal sense. 0.9% pick rate, but the win rate is very, very good, 50% plus. And honestly, I'm seeing a lot of high elo players use him. I've seen some smurfers use him. Obviously, it's that time of year. Why don't most of you try and use him? Now, we have the Jhin killing the Xerath in the bottom lane here. That's, well, random and interesting, but I want to showcase why this champion is so good in the jungle, not just in the top lane, and how we can basically use him to carry. Now, this guy here is a new account. He does play Hecarim mostly on this account, but he can play all of those jungles because he's a Grandmaster Korean player. Now, obviously the support Zac is something that isn't strange to anybody anymore. Years ago, Korea was doing support Zac and everyone was kind of doing this at it, but now I think we all understand how strong Zac is, right? But OLAF, runes on your screen now, standard stuff, nothing too crazy. We obviously had the rework earlier in the year that changed the chain pickup on the Q, altered his ultimate a little bit, and of course gave him that W shield based upon his missing HP. So, on the outset here, we're going for a blue buff start, so out of the gates here, we're doing a blue buff start, sequencing upward to that Graves Camille lane. Normally, when we talk about game planning, right, and this is something that we talk about quite a lot on the main channel as well, you would try and pass towards the lane you want to gank. Lee Sin goes for the invade, but sir, I have smite. I'm going to take that grub. Why are you invading an OLAF? Right, we're going to hit that axe, pick it up, and reduce the cooldown to 2.5 seconds. If 2.5 seconds has not passed, we're going to keep hitting that axe. Oh, we missed that one. That's a bit unfortunate, love. The Akali is prior. She's rotating as well. Waiting for that next axe to come through. Flash. Another axe hits. Double axe that time. We have the stun here. We will have the W up that we can use for shield. It is a capped shield amount, but nonetheless a shield amount. Use it. There we go. Auto attack. Make sure we stack it and he dies. Remember the passive lifesteal that you get as well from this over here, based upon your missing HP. Very, very huge for baiting out fights. And this kind of misdirection is why Warwick is so good in your lower elo games, and why OLAF can be good, well, in any rank essentially. This was a little bit dumb, but I think we can all agree that most junglers do things that are dumb. Back to our original point. Typically, you're pathing in the direction of the lane you want to gank. So I want to gank a Zac lane for sure. So I'll path down and gank her in a mobile Xerath and Jinx, yes? However, in a high elo setting, you might have a range versus melee top lane matchup, specifically a Graves. He's going to push that sucker in, which means you can do a full clear, level 4, get yourself a nice juicy topside crab, and then dive that sucker. And that's obviously what the intent was, but for now, because we were forced out of a jungle, we did get a kill, which is good. We know that Lee Sin at this stage, having done this and then wasted all of his time doing this, is going to go to the top side here and maybe try and do something about the Graves. So we're going to do our Raptors red and then sequence back down to our Wolves. Make sure you're hitting everything with that axe, pick it up and get the reduced CDR. Let that burn tick work away. And now we can swap to get this crab. Then Graves decided, hey, can I take that crab for myself? Lee Sin missed the Q. And a high elo career, by the way, and low ping. Very good skill shot usage. And OLAF rotates, collapses, and gets himself another kill. Now, this isn't always going to be as easy, but I like showing this kind of game because it's still a 28-minute game. So typically, if you don't get this free fed, you're going to have to figure out how to get back into the game and, of course, close. If you do get this free fed, most of the time you might think, GG, and then you lose. And I know you do. Look at yourself. Look at your match history. How many games did you have a nice lead like this, a free lead, and you lost? We will tackle that and more, plus axe swinging goodness. Here, you see the difference though. Low elo jungler might continue on down to this, or go to this, or look here. The immediate swap to rotate onto the Lee Sin. My camera was on the Lee Sin happening, and my pilot, my champion, my Jaeger, was moving on up through the mid lane there. We can, of course, now steal the Raptors, go and take this sucker here. We can hit this down to see if Lee Sin's pathing here. I would. You could wait, I suppose. Maybe it's better to wait just a little bit in case, obviously, he does the Krugs and then he moves on over. But typically in a lower elo setting, you might have a jungler just go straight for the bottom lane. I don't know, get desperate. I would definitely want to hit this before I go back to base. That's more of a non-high elo thing, though. You know, like high elo career is obviously going to be a lot different. People expect things to happen, but we do have a nice little trap there, which will help us. Back to base, Sheen. Sheen is great for fisting. And as OLAF showed you, he does enjoy a good amount of that. Any champion that can go Sheen will use it to trade, to fight, to gank, to beat out the enemy jungler and ruin their days. That's what we're trying to achieve with this. We do have the Hearthbound Axe as well for added attack speed, added AD, which helps our passive and of course gives us ratios on our spells. And remember, that's a true damage spell. Yeah, a lot of damage. Right, we're gonna go straight down to the bottom side here. Why? Because the Lee Sin, and this is something I'm gonna make a video on the main channel to talk about a little bit. When you box the enemy jungler, right, he has to go a certain place because of your plays, his own plays, mistakes, it doesn't really matter. When you box him into a specific decision, all right, he is going to be in a bad and precarious spot, and it's very easy for you to rotate over and force him out of that spot and take whatever it is he was trying to sneak away from you. In this case, a dragon. Normally, most of you would think, hey, let's go here and down, but those jungle senses have to go tingling, right? What is the Lee Sin going to do that allows him to get back into the game? Do the thing that gives him catch-up experience, which is an epic monster. Now, as an OLAF, what do I want to do to carry this game? Oppressive jungling. If you are farming, if you're chilling, if you're not getting into lanes and getting in the jungler's phase, you are not playing OLAF correctly. This is exactly how we want to play OLAF. And this is exactly the kind of smurfing invading we want to see. Now, of course, the Lee Sin's master GM player himself, right? And this is obviously an atrocious game, severe underestimation of the enemy jungler, really doesn't know what OLAF does, and that's the benefit, right? Most people don't know what I'm meant to do when I pick Zyra and Mundo and Ornn. Like, they don't know what my champion does in the jungle. They don't know my spikes, what I want to achieve. OLAF, likewise, has that issue sometimes with your teammates in the enemy team, as Camille rotates down to the mid lane and Olaf was like looking at the Raptors and I'm looking at you, and there you go, like nice roam, forced, right? This kind of pressure will force a reaction from side lanes if they are able to do so. You do have to be ready for that. Lee Sin's now like, please, can I help you push this lane and soak some experience? Please. And then he goes on down to his red side. But we'll hold this with a big smile on our face before we go Viking raiding. Now remember, we stole that Hextech Dragon, absolutely juicy dragon. What do you think about doing now? Do you want to go take this RNG crab and loop back up here? Do you want to take this and then take the RNG crab and fall into the Herald? Or as, unfortunately, thank you Twisted Fate for spoiling everything, we know the Lee Sin went down, so why don't we look to do this in shadow, so should he try to show up here, we can counter gank, collapse, invade, and do all the goodness. We do have Vault available. Remember, it's time now. 3 seconds. If he auto attacks or uses his E, it will be extended. So the idea is for the enemy team to try and, kite it out as best you can. Olaf is going to cleanse very soon as he gets stunned. Oh, the flash. It's a bit of a early flash to the Xerath. I think you should have accepted your fate. Lee Sin's going in here to see if he can do anything. We're going to use the immune button on the ultimate flash, but lost. You can go Ghost, obviously, for the stickiness. I do like flash on a lot of Ghost champions. Just like we use Ghost on flash champions at the moment. Just because the flash Axe, the flash E, those are really nice outplay maneuvers that we can use. But, careful. Mini wave thinning. Carly flashes in. She misses. How tragic. What are we at now? 925? So, talking about atomization, this is such an aggressive push by the OLAF into the Lee Sin's jungle. The Lee Sin made one tiny little stupid mistake, one big ass dumbass mistake, but the OLAF said, look, I'm going to absolutely punish you for this, and I'm not going to allow you to get away with it. Can the Zac survive? No. Jinx gets resets. Chain. Here comes the Xerath. Here comes the Jinx. Heal used. Flash used. We survive. Very good. We do have the W as well that we could have and probably should have out of anticipation used. I think he was, but the Jing gave us a flash. Twisted Fate not trapping in the bush. Red card was ready but doesn't really do anything. We're gonna die here, I think. Ooh, undertow. I was gonna say something else. Replace the toe with another word that might rhyme with that to reference the Akali, but I won't. I will show restraint for such degenerate humor. I apologize, my friends. We do have a lot of gold here. This is really an active Fiesta game being forced by the OLAF. And you talk about not having prior. I mean, when we're OLAF, I don't care about prior, right? I'm just going to run into people and kill them. And if they want to fight me, I'm going to say, why? And when we're talking about a hidden OP jungle, something that can, we're going to give it to the Zac. That's what we were doing. We're just giving it to the Zac. Very nice. Generous Viking. Obviously, the rewards from one's raid need to be spread with the village so that everyone can be happy about such a egalitarian society. Now, remember, you want to run at people, you want to be aggressive, you want to run across mid lane to create this prior. You guys talk about not having prior. Olaf says, I don't care, I'll create it. Look, this is a gang. My intent is not to kill the Akali, it's just to move to his jungle, push him out, then move back to this jungle. But you will get caught out when side lanes roam, so do be a little bit careful about that. Now, once more, he does ult. We have missed this, I feel. This is a missed Herald. I'm having jokes and talking about Olaf things, but you know, ideally we kind of want to base here and then look to go straight to the Herald. That's typically what I would suggest most of you to do, all right? Don't stay out this long. I know you just want to buy the Triforce in one big fell swoop, but I think trying to get that Herald is crucial. I did have a Grandmaster's jungler up against me when I was playing Ornn, and then he slapped in the Olaf, and I was like, well, that wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. He just ran at my bottom lane 1,800 times, killed them, and then when I was Ornn, he would just invade me, run at me. And obviously, what do I do as Ornn? I CC people. And what does he not care about? Exactly. So here, a nice little Fog of War shadow. We know the Lee Sin's going to fall back after doing that Herald into his blue side. He needs to catch up in the farm, and my god, did they die quickly. This is a good little Fog of War gap. Let me show you this here. So this is super good, and I talked about this in the Elise video. I think it was the Elise video we put out recently. Remember, Elise, Lilia, Shyvana, all on ZyraGG guides right now, live, along with 30 other junglers. So many junglers, so many live guides, so much knowledge for your in-game escapades that will tell you macro decisions related to these kind of events that help you guide yourselves to victory. And back to the video. Now, you see, you know that Lee Sin just took this. The Twisted Fate altered. We didn't get much, but he's going to fall back into this section, right? So what you want to do here is basically say, look, this guy's auto-pushing. Obviously, it's a Graves that doesn't know what else to do with his life. And the Camille will shadow up here, so we're going to sit in the Fog of War, bait the Lee Sin into this gank, and we'll just straight up counter gank it, which we do. She ults, we hit the undertow, which is excellent. We ult to make sure we avoid everything. We have our W, which gives us that big old steroid juice plus the shield. And with the true damage, no one can touch us. And this cooldown is decent, right? So that attack speed amp, you know, you want to use it and time it correctly, as well as the shield. But when you're hitting towers here, you just want to absolutely smash that. We have gone 4 points into Q here, 2 points into E. The scaling CDR on this one is, you know, it's relevant. You know, you're going from like 10 to 5, essentially. We're at 8.4 at the moment. That's a lot when you're talking about a high AD ratio true damage spell. Now, we keep getting distracted. Itemization. Gore Drinker versus your heavy melees and heavy fisters and sustained comps, for sure. Against Lee Sin and Camille, do we want to use Gore Drinker? Of course. Against Akali, Xerath, Jinx, a lot of range, and CC, we might want to use Strikebreaker, for example. Excellent item. However, the hidden tech is obviously this Trinity Force. A lot of damage, a lot of AD ratios, and the passive is super, super nice. Get attacks, damage, haste, and movement speed. All the things you want. Not a lot of it, but enough of it that it aids every aspect of the champion. Here, we're going to go into the bottom side. We'll snack away the Gromp, move up to the Wolves. And again, we're up 6k, but we still have to close this game. I mean, up 6k at 12 minutes, and the game still takes 27 minutes to close. There's a lot to talk about here. Specifically in this meta, we do have Smite. We can wait for him. We are able to get it. That was the R was for the Lee Sin because he went in too soon. Nice trap. We're up 2 levels. We got to use this lead here. Can we hit the axe? Careful. Carly's in lane. Twisted Fate is showing up. He's gone straight to his red lane. Red buff, excuse me. Jinx is in lane as well. Xerath might try and show up here, but we have the Zac shadowing us, which is really, really good. The Ward Hub using the control ward, excellent denial. Want to steal that. You see this is exactly what you want to do to enemy junglers when you're fed on Olaf. And if it's their own mistake that does it, fine. If it's you just doing a full clear, having a good early game plan, fine. But this is the kind of pressure, because every time you get +4 for yourself, it's -4 for him, +10 for you, -10 for him, and we fall back to objectives, we fall back to nice ganking angles, and we're at 102 CS to 48. Is this self-inflicted by the Lee Sin? Yes. Doesn't really matter though, because most junglers do not see through to fruition the destruction of the enemy jungler when they make mistakes. They just don't do it. Someone will make a mistake and you get forgiven. How many times in coaching, you guys who have had coaching or watched the Patreon, or all the VODs are on Patreon, and you see me say to someone, you know what? There was a big mistake here that you made, but then we didn't punish you, so you can get back into the game. It's always possible. Like right now, we skipped the Raptors, we're going straight to the top lane here. We do have the Flash Smite available if we want to use it. We are using our ult there. The Flash Q does miss, which is a bit of a problem. A lot of mobility on their team, plus this Dragon doesn't help us. Ghost would have been better there. If we could have flashed a little sooner, maybe we cut up through the river instead, anticipating an escape. Yeah. Benefit of hindsight in that situation. I too have flashed and misspells. I'm sure you have as well. It happens to the best of us. Also, as I said, he's a hacker in play, so he's just used to being a lot faster than he is. Probably doesn't even know how to use Flash. Let's be honest. Like, Flash is just like this weird spell that he's never seen in his life. Surprised he didn't just go Ghost by default. All right, off we go. Herald used, unfortunately, by the Lee Sin. I think you might have been looking to scan there. And remember, bounties are active this season, so even though these games might look free, an overcommittal here, a little bit of too big a bite of the apple there, and they're getting gold back. So let's make sure we don't allow them to get that turret at all. All right, so a little bit of cleanup here. Camille's now mid lane against the Twisted Fate. The Graves is here. We're going to end up, I think, I mean, it's 6-9 in kills. We have a substantial gold lead, but it's not like there's a shit ton of kills that is holding this game together. I mean, yeah, Olaf is 6 out of 9 here. Nice. And the Lee Sin is 1-3-1. Stupid kick. But it feels like we're still going to have to do a lot more to win this game. And I know from the match history, always linked below, that, and we're 9 now, that the Olaf has by far the highest kill participation out of anyone. So I'm excited to see exactly what he does to see this through to a win. So we have a lot of pressure here, which will force a rotation at some point by someone. We want to protect our jungle now from being counter-jungled. We do have a dragon. The next dragon will be obviously the Cloud Drake, so not really a dragon we're too concerned about. Better than an Ocean. I mean, Ocean solo and Olaf is really the dream, to be honest with you. Fall back to the blue. Fall back to the wolves. He disengages and doesn't overextend. How simple and nice. We E on over to hold this tower. And now is a great example of, let's farm. Let's fall back and do a nice little bit of a sequence. Lee Sin caught up a little bit because we are fighting a lot and denying a lot, but eventually the dude will catch up through some picks, through some holding of lanes, through some shutdowns, through a herald, for example. So it's very important that you keep this pressure up. And these full sequences can be good, but basically here now, instead of being distracted by this, look at this. He gets pushed all the way back. We have the Jinx taking the bottom lane tower, getting that bounty. Actually, very interesting and very notable. What's that gold lead? We're at 5k now. I kind of like the idea of here, let's just go in and see if we can obliterate someone who's greedy enough to step into their jungle. Lee Sin has to be super cautious. He's on the walls actually at the moment. He has to be super cautious about just walking into his jungle at this stage. Yeah, you see? Twisted Fate ult. Akali there. He's just going to take this in front of the Lee Sin. Yeah. So demoralizing. So demoralizing. Into the Herald. Nice. You see how when people get distracted by full clear, you wouldn't be in a position to do that. He sees, blues up, grumps up. We have deep vision. I don't need to do the Krugs. I can just run into the jungle, take their stuff. They can't fight me. Use that good angle to go and take a Rift Herald. We're up 2 levels again. Lee Sin's forcing it. Jinx is bottom lane here. Lee Sin, you're by yourself, buddy. This is the most weird Lee Sin play I've seen in a while. Safeguards away the mobility. Deny the bounty. All right. Keep an eye on the gold amount. Just a 5.5k or so. 5.5 fucking K. The memes. Who's been around long enough to know what that meme is? Anyone? Okay. Hopefully someone knows what I mean. 5.5k meme, League of Legends. Google it and you'll understand all. Right, next dragon is going to be spawning. We are back into base. We're going for this one because the only person really going to be doing damage to us is most likely the Akali and the coin flip nature of the Xerath. But obviously the shield plus our own shield plus the Omnivamper that gets triggered is super good. Oh no, we're in a rough situation. Anyway. Ooh, Rockabouts used to avoid the axe. We have a mid lane Jinx here shoving this up. See, this is good practice. This is why you do this. You shove this up so that in a losing game state you can try and prep for that objective. However, Olaf has just said, I'm going to go in here. Camille is a good champion. I love this champion. Anyway, so obviously with Trinity Force, as we can see there, the amount of damage you do to squishy targets, you can just run on over, much like a Hecarim in that sense, is huge. Like you just run at her, you press R, and no one can deal with you. She dies. Chain CC and get your lifesteal. She dies. He dies. People die. But you are, of course, squishy once you have lost that more from Mortiers. And I do kind of like the Black Cleaver Death Dance more combination. I think that's very good. Into a GA kind of stuff. Kind of gives you everything you need. You can go full tank as well, but I would only advise the Trinity Force for those of us who are more attuned to how squishy it can make you. I mean, obviously your lifesteal is nice, but you are squishy at the end of the day, right? Gold Drinker with that active in that HP, Stride Breaker. Obviously this gives you the same HP now, but obviously the Gold Drinker is, you know, going to be better for sustain. The HP obviously is nice, and all the attack damage we get from this is nice, plus the Sheen Now we're basically just trolling them in the mid lane. We do have the Herald here that we need to use. Hopefully we can try and bust down a tower, which would be pretty nice. I mean, the fact that this is still up is interesting. That says a lot about, you know, yeah, you can punish these sidelines, but at the end of the day, we have 2 towers here, but these 2 towers are still up. So the lead is only as good as the amount of objectives you can secure, and towers are included in that. So please look for ways to push the towers. It's great to walk into the jungle, take all their stuff relentlessly, but unless you're pushing the towers and making it more difficult for them to CS and farm, then you're not really going to be getting much. Stunned by the weight of the world. Collapse stunned by the weight of their team. CC immunity from the ultimate to run away. Coconuts are being clapped together. Graves is flanking. Camille is flanking. We get stunned. Zac goes in, but he's by himself. No one can follow up. That should be a dead Graves. It is a dead Graves. Zac is bouncing. Zac is healing. Zac is sustaining. OLAF is like, but I can do nothing. Uses a shield. Hits the undertow on the Camille. Camille tries to kill him. Lifesteal and true damage are enough to kill her down. And now everyone's running away. Okay, well that was messy, but we'll take it. Disruption, CC, sustain, lifesteal, omnivamp. All of these things are great for extended and strong fights, which is why we like Conqueror on this champion, all right? Total healing 287. That doesn't make my point, but that's because everyone dies too damn quickly. We'll see by the end of the game. Maybe we'll have better data by the end of the game. Obviously, when you win a fight, fall back into the jungle, take all of their shit, flex with an emote if you like, and maybe you can push out this bottom lane here. He didn't like that. You'd have to be concerned about pushing bot too aggressively in a more equal game, because they might look to do that Baron and try and snack it away. So you have to be ready here to cut in if they do try that when you're basing. We're going to go for the Deadmans actually second, because the Deadmans will help us become significantly more tanky, allow us to stick to targets. It obviously is a bit more of a damage item than it has been in the past. The armor is kind of poor in that sense. I mean, it's the same as Zhonya's, for goodness sake, but the movement speed and the 159 physical damage that he has scaling there, thumbs up. Thumbs up. He will go Death Stone. You can go Death Stones in GA, I think second and third. Well, fourth and fifth, not second and third. Fourth and fifth. See the fight, flank the fight, hit the plant. Hello, backline. This is it. See, look at this. You hit your Q, you hit your E, you activate your W, you attack, you attack, you attack, you pick up your axe, you use your next axe. You have the ultimate is extended as much as you possibly can with attacks and use of that E, giving you that bonus attack damage and yeah. I thought there was something more nuanced to it, and I knew there wasn't, but you know, you get movement speed towards champions and more attack damage. This is now a passive though. 20 armor, 20 magic resist, that's a passive. That used to be like a decision when you ulted. Now it's just, you always get it, right? Fall back to the Baron. Well, nicely done. Look for the back lines when you're building Trinity Force, and you're unkillable for them. You have more Mortius, you have a Deadmans. No one's gonna be able to touch you. I do think a Death Stance, more Mortius, tanky atomization is obviously good, but in this situation, it's really down to state of the game, enemy team comp, and what you feel comfortable playing with. At this point, he already outkills everybody with his Trinity Force, with his Mortius. So let's just load up on the armor for the Lee Sin, Camille, and the Jinx. Not a lot of armor, but enough HP as well that it allows us to dive the backline, stick to the backline. Excuse me, Xerath, can I interest you in some death? There we go. Lady Death, Thanos jokes, if anyone wants to make them, please do so in the comments. We have Undertow up in now. But Lee Sin's so difficult to chain these things to. He is kiteable. In the end, he is kiteable, right, without that ultimate, which is why we want as much movement speed as possible, and we have approach velocity. As I say that, we just change CC into an axe. Beautifully done. We're now 818. Bonus damage 1425. Let's have a look at the Conqueror now. 515. Ooh, cheeky healing. People like to meme these numbers. Morello's, Conqueror, other things. I like to meme it, but you have to look at it in context, right? Your Conqueror, your item, could do nothing for most of the game. But then in that one fight that wins you the game, it could do huge things. It's about playing to that strength, right? Yes, we kind of want to load up on all the giga stats for all of these items all the time, but sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes it's about making sure you have the atomization and rune set to do the one thing you need to do to win the game. And sometimes that means not stacking up unholy clickbait numbers and simply getting the healing in the fight that matters. That's it. But I do understand what you're all saying when you see these small numbers. Leave our team to do this because they don't need us. That's a lot of trust. I know that they're not going to walk through here and take this, but what about the Jinx ult? What about the Xerath? I prefer to be there to smite it, but he prefers to be here to... Oh, that is demoralizing. I think this Lee Sin is just gonna ban OLAF next lobby. He doesn't want to deal with it. It's all his own fault in the end, but it's amazing how you can snowball a lead from it. Right. Death Dance completed. GA will be the final itemization choice, I would assume, because they can kill you once. They cannot kill you twice. Jin is pushing, Twisted Fate is pushing, Graves is pushing. We're on an 818. The damage, there's a lot of damage, but OLAF does by far the most. Well, not by far, but he does the most. 80 ratios and whatnot, auto attacks and whatnot, not being CC'd and whatnot. We kind of want to make sure we take both of these here, unless they overcommit. The Camille's flanking on the bottom side here. Jin has decided that he doesn't want to play the game, so he's, you know, he's dead. But we killed the Akali, so that's good. I'm looking at the Camille in the back line there. We have taken that bottom lane inhib. Camille is now going onto the Twisted Fate. Live, son, live! Nice peel from everyone. Axe. 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 E. And of course W for mega attack speed. Steroid. Move into the mid lane again. Hit this plant. Hello. We do have ult available that we can use. Axe hits. Very nice axe. We do activate it. We're going to go straight for this Jinx as much as possible. Nice WE once more. Very, very, you know, advanced mechanics here by auto attacking and pressing the button that makes you auto attack more. Very good. Simple. Strong, potent, powerful, unpeelable. Doesn't care about CC. You can just run at enemy junglers like an idiot all game and kill them. You have a shield on your W for sustain. You can build Gore Drinker, Strike Breaker, Trinity Force. You have all the good bruiser items in Morpher Mortius and Death's Dance. You can build GA, Spirit Visages, Dead Man's Plates. Anything you want in that fighter realm is yours. You can run down people who are fed. If Jinx is fed on your team and you're the OLAF, do you care that she's fed? No, because she's dead. The game took 27 minutes because they took it more methodically. They basically, and hopefully you can see from this video, didn't just run into their base and try and end too soon. They just made sure that they kept denying them farm from their jungle, fell back to objectives, moved into their jungle again, made a pick, took all their stuff, fell back to the next objective, slowly pushed the lanes out. That's it, my friends. It's not more complicated than that most of the time. So, a little bit of restraint, much like the Shaco game yesterday, but with a lot more potent and obvious damage, I think. You don't have to kind of skirt the edges and boxes and things like that. You just run at people mindlessly, but in a better way than a Hecarim or an Udyr. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Please do like, share, and comment. Subscribe if you did. Main channel has the best junglers tier list, plus a video that went live this week, and should have another 2 videos this week if I can figure out a way to do that. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.